Hello, ladies. It's Renee, host of the Welcome to Your Life podcast. Have you thought of recording your own podcast, but the thought of learning new technology was too frightening? I know exactly how you feel. That's how I felt until I found Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place, and it's free. You can record from your phone or your computer, and the creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. They'll even distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere on places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many, many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Trust me, you will not regret it. Patience is not the ability to wait, but how you act while you're waiting. Joyce Meyer. Hello, beautiful people. You are listening to the Welcome to Your Life podcast. If you are a woman struggling with creating a work-life balance that provides you with the energy and focus you need to get through your day without drinking 3 cups of coffee, you are in the right place. On this show, I provide practical tips to help you energize your wellness goals, relationships, parenting, and more. Helping you to improve your self-care is my number one priority. I am your host, Renee Reed, yoga teacher, diabetes educator, parenting coach, and your loudest cheerleader. Don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with your family, friends, and followers. And please consider becoming a monthly donor. For just 99 cents per month, you can help to provide for future episodes and assist us with providing free or low-cost yoga classes to women in the community who might not otherwise get to enjoy the wonderful calming benefits that yoga brings. Thank you so much for your support. On today's show, I had the pleasure of speaking with Andrea Ellis. Andrea is the author of Business Left Unfinished, The Final Winner. It's available on Amazon, and trust me, you are going to love it. Andrea is a 50-year-old mother of 2 lovely daughters. She's been married for 21 years to her wonderful husband. She is an administrative assistant for a surgical oncology unit at the University of Cincinnati. She likes to do crafts, read, bake, and drink wine. Andrea had a dream to write a book. It took her 19 years through working a full-time job, raising 2 girls, and being a loving wife to get it done and published, but she did it. Her story proves that dreams can come true with hard work, determination, and faith. In today's episode, she tells us how she found the time to complete her dream. She gives us a hint on her upcoming projects and tells us all how we have the power to add a little peace in the world. You know, there are so many of us waiting to fulfill a dream, and some of us have been waiting so long that we have given up hope. But Andrea gives us a loving kick in the pants and tips to help us get it done. Let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's show. I have a special guest with us today, author Andrea Ellis. And Andrea is a 50-year-old mother of 2 lovely daughters. She's been married to her wonderful husband for 21 years. And currently, she's working as an administrative assistant for a surgical oncology unit at the University of Cincinnati. Go Buckeyes. She likes to do crafts, read, bake, and drink wine, all of my favorite things. And now she's an author. Welcome to the show, Andrea.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I am so excited about this book because I got it when you first announced it on Facebook, and it was just so fun to read. So tell us, what made you decide to write a book?
Well, I wanted to be an author when I was a child. I always wanted to write. I always wanted to be in journalism or something like that. So I did poems, those, what I call those rhymey-timey poems, all full of love and butterflies and blah, blah, blah. But as you grow older, you realize that that's not really what life is all about. So when I moved to Cincinnati some 20-some years ago, didn't have any friends, didn't have anything to do, I said, well, let's start writing. It was done out of, I didn't have anything else to do, but it was something that I liked to do anyway. So my husband at the time was going back to school, and he had a word processor. That's how long ago I started this journey. And started on the word processor, saved it on a floppy disk, would write on it, work on it time to time, and then lost the disk, lost the push to do it. Then, life goes on. I found the disk. I'm like, oh, I remember this. So you start working on it some more. So off and on for a period of 19 years, when it was finally published, that was the back and forth. And, oh, I should work on this. Oh, I really want to do it. It was more a completion of a circle for me to start something and finish something that I really wanted to do versus something I needed to do.
Okay.
So once I finished it, it was like, okay, sent it off for copyright and all that stuff, and it just sat. And I'm like, okay. So I finished it, but is it really complete? No, because I wanted to get it published, but my sister had published a book, and all of the, well, honestly, the one factor that holds us back from doing a lot of things is how much it's going to cost.
Right.
So I looked at a few things, and I'm like, I'm not paying that for this book. All I want to do is publish it and maybe have a couple of copies, one on my mother's dining room table or something like that, nothing to make money off of or anything. So then it was like, I need to do something. So I was talking to a girlfriend of my cousin in Atlanta. I don't even know how we got on the subject. And she said, oh, I have a publisher I can put you in touch with. And then that fell through the cracks. And I'm like, well, are you going to give me the information or whatever? Because it was like, okay, she said it, and I felt good about it, but I didn't press her because I didn't know if I was actually ready to do it. So one Sunday, she sent me her information. Her name is Kim Stevens. She's wonderful. She said, okay, here's what you need to do. Here's the pricing. Talked it over with my husband. He's like, yes, go ahead and do it. Sent it to her, I want to say in October. Sent her my manuscript. She said because it was nicely written, she didn't have to make a lot of corrections in that. We just closed up some loose ends. And it was published by Cyber Monday, November 2018.
Wow.
Right. So it took me longer to write it than it did to do anything else.
But I love how you said it was something that you wanted to do, and it was just something in you that, every now and then it would rise up, and you would work on it a little bit, and then you'd put it aside. It wasn't like
it's something that you panicked, oh, I got to get this done right now, give myself,
Right.
15 days or whatever. But so it was really a labor of love
Mhm.
that you were able to, give attention to when you had, when you had the time to give it the attention that it needed. And then it just blossomed.
Right. Well, in the interim of that happening, I'd done some other smaller works. I did some poems that I have copywritten. I have not published those. And I wrote another little story that relates to my mother, and it's titled, and I haven't published that either, Girl If I Ever. And it was things that my mother would tell me and that I put into a little story that I never published. So I have these works. So it wasn't like I didn't think I could do it. I don't think I'm going to say I wasn't ready at the time. I did the work, so the work is done, but I wasn't ready to take that final step of publishing, because when you publish something, it's final, it's real. You have exposed yourself to people outside of your circle. And then you have to deal with the criticism of other people. While we say, well, I don't care what so-and-so thinks, we do care, and we care deeply. So you don't want to be embarrassed. You don't want to feel as though you've embarrassed your family or your friends. And in talking about this now on the larger scale, you don't want to let anyone down in putting yourself out there. I worked on this. I did this. Here it is for the world to see. And then for that one person, whoever that person is, to say, well, that really sucked. And you feel like you have failed everything that you've ever done. And again, and in speaking this now, I know that was the case, because how dare you make me feel bad about what I've done, that I've poured my heart, my soul, my blood, and sweat and tears into this project. And for one random person that you never meet in your life to say, well, that sucks, you feel like you failed everything you've ever done. And that's a horrible place to be. And nobody wants to be there.
That is. So how do you think you're going to, because I'm sure this is not your last book, so how are you going to prepare yourself for that criticism in the future?
Actually, it's already kind of happened, because my oldest daughter read the book, and I asked her for her critique, and she gave it to me, and I didn't like it because it wasn't all, warm and fuzzy. Oh, Mom, I love the book. It was great. You're so great and awesome and amazing. It was none of that. It was, I'm glad you did it. I'm very proud of you, but this, and this. And I have to take it, because she and I are alike but different. I have to take it as I'm an author, she's a reader. And as with that relationship, you have to appeal to your audience. You have to take what's being said and work that to be better in your next book. So it's kind of happened already. I'm glad it happened with somebody from a place of love and not maliciousness.
Right.
But still, it puts you, okay, how can I do this better? How can I make this better? You still are the same person that's doing this work, but now you're trying to one-up yourself. And how do you do that? And I don't know. I'm going to give it a whirl, but I don't know. I mean, I still want to publish those older works while they might seem, I read them now like, oh, my God, this is so sappy. But it's mine. I did it. I might as well go ahead and put it out there. I've done a harder thing by publishing this book versus this other thing that's been done and finished. And it just sat. So I might as well go ahead and do those, put those other things out there and just, let them fall where they may.
So without giving us too giving away too much of the juicy bits of the books, tell us the title and then just give us a little bit of a synopsis of what the book is about.
So the book is titled Business Left Unfinished. The book is about, I can give you the main characters, Maya and Eric, Angel and Sterling, a lawyer named Oliver Hamilton III, and a girl named Autumn, and a guy named Lincoln. So all of these relationships intertwine on some level or another. Eric and Maya are in a relationship, but they're not really doing the work they need to grow this relationship. In the midst of that, there is a young lady, Autumn, whose primary goal is to take somebody else's man. So Eric is the guy that she wants to take. So in the mix of that, this lawyer who Maya meets on her way to work one day decides that that's going to be his wife. Maya is convinced that she doesn't like him, where secretly she's kind of intrigued, which then puts the relationship with her and Eric in jeopardy. Sterling and Angel, two hopeless romantics who swear that, nobody loves them. They just have had a hard go of it. And Angel and Lincoln had a relationship that got all twisted and turned upside down and ended. It just ended, I'll say that. And then that gave segue for Angel and Sterling to meet over some other situations and circumstances. So it's a love story, kind of, with the drama that's needed for a good love story and an ending that's not quite as what you would expect. So it's a good read. It's a fast read. I still smile when I think about certain parts of it because that's when I was like, yes, this is good stuff right here. But it's a fun little story. It's, I can say that parts of the characters some of the parts are from me and personal experiences. Some of the characters purely fictional. None of the people in the book are real. Their situations are real. Some of them, like I said, are part of my life. Some of them are purely, okay, let's just make this happen. But I believe it's a very relatable story to anyone ever in a relationship. Anybody in a relationship. You've read any other book about relationships. So it's very relatable. It's not too far-fetched that, it's it's not off base for a relationship type of book.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I really felt like when I was reading it, like the characters, I love how the story flows, and I loved that the characters just became real to me. They were like people that I would see at church or, in my family. Like I could actually picture these characters walking around in real life and, living their lives,
Right.
Do you write the backstory for your characters before you write your books, or do you just kind of write and create their backstory as you see how the other characters will kind of mingle and intertwine with your main characters?
Actually, the way I wrote this in the order that it's in the book. I started with this girl and who is she and what does she look like, and I guess I did a little brainstorming just on the main character names. That part was a big thing for me because I wanted to pick names that I liked. Maya, I always thought was a pretty name. Angel was actually the nickname that one of my aunts called me as a child, so I always loved that. Sterling was a boy that, well, he's a man now, that I was in school with. And I liked Sterling. He was in my 5th grade class. I'll tell the story real quick. Sterling Leapart was his name. Grew up in Cleveland, Miles Elementary. Sterling was the only white boy in our school at the time. Red hair, freckle face, and I loved me some Sterling. So that name has always meant something to me because for whatever reason, 5th grade, every day that I wore boots, he would pull my boots off. And this was just such a big deal to me. So I'm like, this name has to be in my book because I like this person. So the names themselves were, I don't want to say more important, but the names of the character for me built then who that character was because the names meant something to me. Terrence, no, there's no Terrence. That's in another book coming. Never mind. Let's see, Lincoln, Eric, Angel, Sterling. Yeah, all these people. Autumn, I thought that was a very unique name. I went to school with a girl named Autumn. So the names themselves kind of built who that character was. I wanted to be descriptive in who these people, what these people look like so that they would be relatable, that you say, oh, I know somebody that looks like that. And right. So I started from the beginning. I kind of had a storyline. I mean, it's based in Cleveland-esque type thing, so I was where I was familiar, and I just let my creativity flow. I wrote it. As I wrote it, that's how it happened. I never wrote it all. Well, I wrote it all in pencil and paper first and then typed it, and that got ridiculous. So then I just started typing, and then I could kind of play with it more because I could just delete the whole thing and rewrite it. But it all just happened sequential. I kind of just built upon it as I wrote it. So.
Wow, that's amazing. So when do you find time to write? Do you have like a regular writing schedule that you do now? Or, because I know you're still working full time, and you have a hubby. So when do you fit writing into your life?
Sadly, there is no schedule, which I need to do. I have taken the back bedroom that was my daughter's and turned it into my little space, where I have all my stuff set up. But sadly, it takes a whole lot for me to go back there to write. And it's because I am guilty of a lot of things that women are guilty of finding other things to do besides the one thing you need to do.
Right.
Which I'm take full responsibility for, and it's horrible. It's bad and it's sad, and it's like, oh, I need to do better. But if I'm at work and have a few minutes on my lunch break, it's like, oh, I can pound out a sentence real quick. In the midst of chaos, I need to work where there's chaoticness. And sadly, I need to do that. Because if it's quiet and it's home, I'll find something else to do. Now, when I was finishing the book, I had to go to a hotel room, and that's where I had to write, because if I have anything other to do, if I can find one piece of anything on the floor to sweep, I'm going to sweep versus sitting down and writing, and it's terrible, and I feel bad. I'll go in there and look at the laptop like, yeah, not today, girl, not today, I'll be back. And there's no good excuse. I mean, it's just he and I. We don't have any dogs. We got fish. They're self-sufficient. I don't have a good reason. I have time when I come home in the evening. I can just go in there, even if I took an hour to do it. But it's bad. I need to either just do it, or I need to go sit in a bowling alley and do it. If there's noise, I work better. But if it's quiet, I could never study in the library. It's too quiet. I'm going to sleep. I'm not going to focus. So sadly, that's where my brain is. If I'm at home, it's not going to happen. So hopefully I'm going on vacation next week. I'm taking my laptop with me, and I can focus a little bit because I won't have anything else to do but do that. So,
and you're not alone.
Better.
Yeah, but you're not alone, though. I find, just, even getting prepared to talk to you today, I'm thinking, oh, there's laundry, there's, and I have a dog, so, he needs a bath today. But all this stuff, instead of saying, sit down, focus on this. This is your baby, focus on your baby for an hour or two. So you are not alone. And I think that's what happens to a lot of women and their dreams. They, want to do something that is, that they've dreamt of, that they feel is their purpose, or that they just aspire to do. But like you said, as women, we put everybody and everything else before us.
Mm-hmm.
And then we feel bad when we put ourselves first. So we just have to get through that. But I think saying it out loud gives us a chance to kind of examine where we are and then, move forward with a plan to get it done. So, even like you said, 15 minutes, an hour, something every day on your plan or on your dream, it adds up. And the next thing you know, you're like, wow, it's done. So, but yeah, I think you have a handle on it now because you're able to like verbalize it and say that it's happening. So, I think you'll get to the point where, you might be a full-time author one day. That would be awesome.
If I don't get my work ethic together, I'll be a starving artist, as they say. If I can't sit down and write for a half an hour, then won't nothing get done.
So if there are, for other women out there who are thinking of writing a book, what advice would you give them?
The honest answer is to just do it. I mean, and that's very cliche-ish, but honestly, that's it. You have to want it enough, even if you don't want to, as I said, publish it or I should take that back. Even if you don't want to do it grand scale, at least publish it. That way you have a copy, you can see your final work, and it becomes real. One thing that was very important was the support factor. My sister would always say, you can do it, just go ahead and do it. She's always been supportive of that. And even though I'm the oldest, I say she's my little big sister because she kind of sets the bar. I've seen all the things that she's done and that she's doing, and while I'm not jealous of all of that because she's way too busy for me, I see that I can cut out this one little thing, and I can do that, if for no other reason because my sister said I can. And, if you have siblings, they're your first friend, your first whatever, and if she said I could, then who said I can't? Only I said I can, and since she's the boss of me, then I can, and I should do this. So, and my husband was very supportive too. He, whatever I wanted to do, he said, sure, just do it. And even though spouses can say, yeah, honey, if that's what you want to do, do it. But he meant it. He would ask me, are you writing? How's it going? Are you okay? And things like that. So the support is important. And just having a core group of people, whether it's 2 or 3 or 1.5 or whatever, somebody that believes in you, that will not prompted ask you, well, how's the book coming? Are you still writing? Are you doing anything? to complete that, because then it holds you accountable. Here's somebody who has no nickels in the quarter, as my mother would say, that's asking you, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? So then, it goes back to, well, I can't let them down, then I have to finish it. So there's an interesting piece I'll share. When I was in school in Cleveland, I took a writing class, and I forget his last name. His first name was Robert, the professor, and I was going to Sawyer College of Business it used to be on Mayfield Road. And I wrote some stuff we had to do in class, and there was one piece that I wrote, and he wrote on there, if you don't continue to write, I will haunt you from my grave. And I'm wow. Okay, creepy. So, again, as the years went on, and I never forgot that. So the years would go by, and it was, I don't even know how many years ago now, a guy at my church, his name is Bob, which is short for Robert, out of the clear blue sky asked me one day, so how's your writing coming? And then he skirted away, and I couldn't get back to him to ask him, why are you asking me that? And I'm going over my head. Now, we've had conversations. I've never told anybody about that. So there came another opportunity where he asked me, and I'm like, why are you asking me that? And he said, I don't know.
Oh.
And I'm looking at him like, what do you mean you don't know? How are you asking me something and you don't know why you asking me? And so that, and while I don't believe in, ghosts and things like that, that was confirmation that Bob is on his job with what he said. So I'm like, okay, so we're going to get you off my back. I'm going to finish this book. Yeah, we're going to finish this because you're not going to be bothering me like that. But it just kind of, for me, it was kind of, okay, he said it. There's no reason why I can't. So, again, that even that support, because him not knowing why he was asking that question prompted me to know that I need to go ahead and finish what I started. So I look at things like that. Sometimes you see signs, you see, you'll read something, and it's just kind of, again, that confirmation that, yes, you're on the right path. It's taking you a while, but that's okay. As long as you finish, that's what really matters. So back to the original question, just to do it, have a support group, have the belief in yourself that you can, want it bad enough that you will pursue it. You may have to, it may take 19 years or whatever, but just to do it, because we are our biggest naysayers as well as our biggest cheerleaders for things that we want to do that are comfortable. It's the uncomfortable things that no, well, I shouldn't, or no, that's not, I can't, but we can't. But because we don't practice enough self-talk to the positive, we can talk ourselves out of anything that we don't want to do. But talking ourselves into the things that we do want to do or should do or would make us feel so much better is where we fail as women, I think. And not just because we don't believe in ourselves, but because we don't give ourselves the credit that we are due. We know we can do anything. It's just believing that you can, because knowing and believing are two different things.
Wow. Now that is so powerful and so true, because, we take care of families, we work, we go to school. I mean, if you think of all the things that we juggle in a day, and do it well, not just like playing around with it, but really making sure that these kids and families and volunteer responsibilities and all these things are taken care of. And we don't take that energy or that focus or that drive and turn it towards things that are just important to us. They may not be important to anyone else, but they're important to us, and we, put it on the back burner, maybe later. So, yeah, that is, I love what you said there. So what do you do for your self-care? How do you take care of yourself to make sure that you're, firing on all cylinders, making sure that you can have the energy to take care of the things you have to take care of?
I'm really a simple girl. I like being at home when I don't have other things to do. For me, self-care is, while it should be about self, it's also about your space and your energy. So I've gotten into, I burn some sage, clear my space, get rid of negative energy, mostly myself, my own negative energy. I'll spray myself with some sage spray. I have some stones that are for different things like calming and focus and things that some I carry with me, some I have just to look at the stone, read what it's for, and focus on that for that moment. Music is self-care for me because I can just lose myself in those melodies and sing off key and dance, and just that freedom to be me in my own space. Self-care for me also involves body. So I go to the chiropractor, get my back worked on a little bit. I've learned that, as my barber says, when you look good, you feel good. So I go get my hair cut every 2 weeks. I get my nails done, and just having somebody pamper you just to sit and relax, because, of course, sitting and relaxing is not one of the things that I do well. And just being, which is odd for self-care. Most people wouldn't think of this, but part of my self-care is also what I call random texts, where there are days I'll go through my contact list and send a text. Hey, sending you some love today. Hey, just thinking about you. And I'll try to do people sporadically that I haven't done in the last couple of weeks or whatever, because for me to reach out to somebody else and say, hey, I'm thinking about you, makes me feel good, because I'm giving a conscious thought to somebody who may not be thinking about me, who may not have thought about me since the last random text, but it makes me feel good that I'm spreading my love out and about. So that for me is big self-care, because when I get the response back, oh my God, you don't know how bad I needed this, then I can share with them, well, I sent it to you, but I did it for me. I needed it. I needed you to know, or I needed me to know that I was thinking about you, or however it works. Sometimes it'll just be a full-blown, here's what's happening, and this made a difference in you sending this text today. So oddly, that part of self-care is important too, because while it's about self, we, as a girlfriend says, we are not here for just ourselves. We're here for others. We are here to help and share and be for others what they can't be for themselves at that time.
Exactly.
So that is good self-care for me.
That is, and it's a comprehensive self-care plan, because it includes, things that are just for you, but then at the same time you're reaching out to others and including, someone who really needs it, a good word for the day. And it's so funny, because this morning at church our pastor said, I know you hate when I say give your neighbor a hug, but you don't know, this might be the only hug they get, for the whole week or the whole 2 weeks, and they might really need it. So we never know how what we do will impact someone else's life in a positive way. Right. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. So this is a question that I ask everyone. some people say it's hokey, but how would you, or how do you think that we as a people, as women, can help to bring more peace into the world?
Well, I don't think it's hokey at all. And my answer to that is to bring peace, we must first be peace. We as women can be catty and just all of those things that people say women can be. We can be that. Some of us, I won't say some of us, there are those that subscribe to that. I'm going to be the best, bad, whatever I can be. And their whole purpose is to be mean and be vindictive and be somebody's pain or whatever. In order to bring peace, you got to be peace. There's times and places and spaces for everything. And I know for myself, just in dealing with my marriage, how when you are not at peace and you have no peace, then that non-peace is destructive to everything around you. Your relationship, not just with your spouse, but with others, your children, your family, your work life is miserable, your social life is miserable if you have one, because people don't want to be around you because you're not at peace. That energy spills out. It flows, and people are learning to deflect negative energy. I don't have to be around you if I don't want to. So, yes, in order to bring about peace, we have to be peace. We have to make ourselves, if we already are not at the core, a safe haven for people, a place where somebody can come. I tell people my porch is always open, and there's always some wine. We can talk. What goes on here stays here. We can cry, we hug, we laugh, and once it's done, it's done. We pray over it, and we move on. You have to be willing to allow yourself to be somebody's peace, to be somebody's safekeeper, somebody's safe haven, that cave in the middle of a mountain where nobody can disturb you. That's what that peace is, and we have to be that. I have found myself having been that and being that, and it makes your everything better. It makes all those relationships better. It makes you want to be better as a person. It makes you want to better those around you because there's enough chaos in the world. So we should want to be peace for those around us in the environments that we can control. So there's no need to be messy and catty and all of that if you don't have. There's a time and place for everything, but if you don't have to be, don't. It exudes way too much energy, and it's tiring. I've done it. I know. It's exhausting. It's exhausting work. So just don't do it. And you have to learn to focus. You have to learn to not have knee-jerk reactions. You have to learn to self-talk, to be humble. Humble yourself. Just say, you know what? I need to walk away. I'll talk to you after I'm ready, when I'm ready, because I might need to process what's just happened. Because a lot of the non-peace comes from not thinking things through before we say something, or from being so quick to react versus to, counter-react. Just instead of that immediate response that they're looking for, don't give it. Just stop and look at them like they're crazy, which then scares them because they don't know what you're getting ready to do. Center yourself. It may take a couple days, and then come back and say, here's what you did. Here's how I felt about it. Or here's what you said, and that made me feel this way. All of that is about peace. It's not just, all of us singing and holding hands, singing Kumbaya. It's bigger than that. It's about being peace within yourself, because that's where it starts. If you're not at peace, mind, body, soul, you can't be peace for anybody else. And it's a struggle. It's a daily struggle. Some days you get up and it's like, the first person I see, I'm going to lose my grip. That person has nothing to do with whatever you losing your grip about. So be steady yourself, center yourself, figure out what your problem is, deal with that before you deal with anybody else. That's how you bring about peace, being peace, knowing what peace is, being able to be a better version of yourself each day. Because some days we're just ugly, not directly, maybe indirectly, and 9 times out of 10 it has nothing to do with whoever was the receiving end of that ugliness. And we have to learn to apologize for that. That also brings peace, being able to come back and say, you know what, I feel as though I mistreated you, or I feel as though I said something out of the way to you, or I feel as though I was a jerk in that answer that I gave, and I apologize for that. And 9 times out of 10, that person will say, no, that was great. I love the way you blah, blah, blah. Even though you feel like you just messed up with somebody, they may have needed exactly what you said or what you did. But you have to be accountable. If you feel that you messed up with somebody, go to them and say, hey, I'm sorry. And if you didn't, they'll let you know, no, you're fine. And if you did, then take that opportunity to listen to what they say, apply what's applicable, and be better the next day. So that's my answer on that.
Wow, thank you. That was awesome.
You're welcome.
I love, and we do not apologize enough. We don't. Everyone wants to be right, and no one wants to say, I'm sorry. So
and not even I'm sorry so much, but to say, you know what, I'm wrong. I was wrong in my thought process. I was wrong in what I believe to be true. Because I'm sorry can be sometimes like, yeah, I'm sorry I did that. But are you sincere in that? And I told my husband that the other day, because we were having a conversation because he didn't read all of the message that I sent him. So he was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I said, I don't want you to be sorry. I want you to apologize. Because you can be, I'm sorry every 10 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't, I want you to apologize, because to me, when you apologize, you're thinking about what you're apologizing for. I apologize, I didn't listen to you. I apologize, I didn't read all of that. I apologize that I made you feel a certain way, versus saying, I'm sorry, because it's so apropos now. Oh, you wronged somebody, I'm sorry. Well, are you really, or are you just saying it because you should say it? I want an apology. I don't want I'm sorry. So I'm learning to apologize and explain why I'm apologizing. So, and that's hard because, most people want to be right versus being wrong, and I'm definitely guilty of that. But I'm learning that it's okay to be wrong. It's okay. There are a lot of people that are wrong.
Right.
They don't all the time know that they're wrong because they don't listen to why they're wrong, but it's okay to be wrong. You don't have to be right. It's okay.
Well, Andrea Ellis, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh,
and
welcome.
Give us the name of the book again, and where can we purchase it?
The book is Business Left Unfinished, The Final Winner. It is available on Amazon. You can get it via Kindle on Amazon, or you can get the paperback. It's a very easy read. I know some people that finished it in about a day or so, so depending on how fast you read, it won't take you forever. I didn't use too many big words, so it flows pretty good. There may be some typing errors in there. I'm not responsible for all of that, but yeah, it's on Amazon. It's a pretty good book. I like it.
Well, I liked it too very much, and I'm very glad that you got around to sharing this story with us. I believe that the world is a little better for it, and I can't wait for your next book to come out and have you back on so you can tell us about it.
Well, thank you, ma'am. See, now there's that accountability piece, so I need to go in there and spend 15 minutes writing a sentence or something. And the bad part is I haven't started. It started. I just need to, and I think, and that's the piece too, if you started it, you're already ahead of the game. It's just a matter of then filling in the blanks. And it's like, you've already started it. Starting it is the hardest part. So I have, again, no good excuse. I just didn't do it. So, yes, I'm going to write this week. I'm going to make that a to-do item. I'm going to write this week.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. And
thank you for having me.
Yes, and I will make sure that the information for the book is in the show notes, so anyone who wants to purchase it, which should be everyone, you can just click the link in the show notes and it will take you right to Andrea's Amazon page, and you can click purchase.
All righty.
So, well, thank you again, and I will talk to you guys soon.
All right, Renee, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello, my loves. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Isn't Andrea a joy? Don't forget that you can purchase her book, Business Left Unfinished, The Final Winner. It's available on Amazon in paperback and on Kindle. I loved it when she said, "To bring peace, we must be peace." So powerful. Listen, if you need help making your dreams a reality, let's talk. Just shoot me an email at WTYLwellness@gmail.com. And ladies, if you haven't done so already, click the link in the show notes and download your free copy of the Healthy Journey Journal. This is my gift to you for being such a wonderful and loyal listener. Get organized from the inside out and live a happier and healthier life. Until tomorrow, wishing you peace and love. Bye for now.